All right, let's be real. There are good games, there are great games, and then there are those rare, untouchable masterpieces that slap a big fat 10 out of 10 across your brain and refuse to leave. Today, we're diving into 21 perfect single-player games you absolutely must play. The kind that remind you why you fell in love with gaming in the first place. So, let's kick this off. Let's start with a game that feels less like a video game and more like a theme park ride where everything around you is exploding, collapsing, or trying to kill you in spectacular fashion. This one doesn't just ask you to jump, it asks you to leap across impossible gaps while entire buildings crumble and your friends yell at you like you're the reason their insurance rates are skyrocketing. The pacing is ridiculous in the best way, flipping from quiet moments of, oh, this is pretty, to absolute chaos in about 3 seconds flat. And the grappling hook? Whoever invented that deserves a Nobel Prize, because it makes you feel cooler than any action star ever could.
Oh, crap! Coming through!
Next, we have a game that said, what if every single boss fight felt like an audition for the hardest gaming moment of your life? You walk in thinking, yeah, I got this, and 5 seconds later, you're Googling breathing exercises because the enemy just turned into a bigger, angrier version of itself. But here's the catch, you love it. Every attack animation is so satisfying, you almost forgive the game for stomping you into the dirt repeatedly. And the visuals? Insane. It's like someone painted a fantasy scroll, then hit the make it move and beat me up button. Somehow, the punishment never feels unfair. It feels earned, like you're part of an ancient training montage where pain equals enlightenment. Then we've got a game that basically hands you a whip and says, go make history interesting again. It's equal parts puzzle solving, jaw-dropping set pieces, and the kind of scrapes that leave you wondering why every structure in the world seems one sneeze away from collapsing. The environments are so detailed you almost don't want to rush through them, but the game doesn't care. It throws you into trouble faster than you can say, probably cursed artifact. And the humor? Spot on. It's the rare kind of adventure that balances danger and charm so well that even the quiet moments feel like they're prepping you for your next, oh crap, here we go again disaster.
Keep the plane straight or I can't shoot! Okay! No! Fire in a zigzag pattern so they can't hit us!
Make up your mind!
Now let's talk about a game that looks like it was handcrafted by someone who stared at every painting in the Louvre and said, yeah, but what if this tried to kill you? It's surreal, haunting, and absolutely gorgeous in a way that makes you want to screenshot every single frame. The combat feels like a blend of poetry and punishment, where even the smallest encounter can catch you off guard if you're not paying attention. The music doesn't just play, it wraps around you, turning fights into operas and quiet moments into something dreamlike. It's rare to find a game that feels this much like art and still keeps you hooked mechanically, but this one nails it.
Careful, my L. I'm ready. A storm is coming.
And next, we've got a game that basically redefines what a remake should even mean. Instead of reheating leftovers, it throws a whole new banquet and then adds dishes you didn't even know you wanted. The combat is flashy but deep, the world is bursting with detail, and the emotional swings, brutal. 1 minute you're laughing at the sheer absurdity of something, and the next you're staring at the screen questioning your ability to recover from emotional trauma. It's not just nostalgia bait. It's a full-blown reimagining that somehow makes old fans happy while roping in new ones with dazzling style. This isn't a throwback, it's a mic drop. Next, we have a game that proves you don't need fireballs or laser rifles to keep players hooked. Sometimes all you need is 4 paws and the ability to knock stuff off shelves. It's the kind of experience where you catch yourself taking detours just to see how much trouble you can cause, only to realize the world is layered with atmosphere that sticks with you long after you've logged off. The pacing is deceptively brilliant, bouncing between quiet exploration and moments of pure oh no tension. And somehow, in the middle of scratching carpets and meowing at robots, you realize this is one of the most unique and heartfelt journeys you've ever played. Let's talk about a game that makes you want to stand dramatically in a field of flowers while the wind perfectly whips your cape around. Every duel feels like a scene out of a movie, complete with tension so thick you can almost hear the soundtrack swell before a single strike is thrown. The open world isn't just big, it's alive, with every corner inviting you to ditch the main story for yet another, let me just check this out real quick, distraction. The combat is sharp, elegant, and brutal all at once, leaving you half in awe and half wondering if you'll ever master parrying properly. It's pure samurai cinema brought to life. Next up is a game that manages to be both a blockbuster spectacle and an emotional roller coaster at the same time. Every fight feels monumental, with weapons that hit so hard you'll swear your controller vibrated straight through the desk. The scale is off the charts, giants, gods, mythical beasts, and yet it balances that with quiet, personal moments that punch you right in the chest. The way combat evolves keeps you constantly engaged, and every encounter has that addictive one more try pull. It's not just bigger than its predecessor, it's smarter, sharper, and somehow even more unforgettable.
Left side, brother!
Then there's a game that's like strapping into a neon roller coaster and being hurled through a city that never sleeps, never shuts up, and never lets you breathe. Night City isn't just a backdrop, it's the star of the show, a place where every alley feels like it could hide a whole story. The missions swing from chaotic gunfights to emotional gut punches, all while the soundtrack pounds in your ears like an electronic heartbeat. With every choice, every upgrade, and every bizarre encounter, you feel pulled deeper into a world that feels disturbingly real. Love it or hate it, this is a game that absolutely refuses to be ignored. Next, we've got a game that makes you question if you should be wearing headphones, or if that's actually a terrible idea. The audio alone is a masterpiece, swirling around you with whispers, echoes, and screams that make you physically turn your head in real life. The visuals are equally unsettling, pulling you into a world that feels as fragile as it is terrifying. Every step forward feels like dragging yourself through a storm that's as much psychological as it is physical. It's not a game you casually pick up, it's an experience that demands your full attention, and it lingers long after you stop playing.
End it now. Nearly the end.
Next, we have a game that makes you stop mid-combat just to admire the view, then promptly get stomped by something the size of a skyscraper. The world is both serene and terrifying, like hiking through a national park where the wildlife is actively trying to delete you. The gameplay loop is addicting. Scout, plan, execute, then laugh when your perfect plan goes sideways and you're running for your life. Every weapon feels like it has a purpose, and tinkering with strategies never gets old. It's that rare mix of open-world beauty and relentless challenge that keeps pulling you back for just one more hunt. Next, we have a game that doesn't just crank up tension, it tightens it like a vice until you're questioning every creak in the room around you. The combat feels meaty and deliberate, with every shot landing like a desperate prayer. Enemies come at you in relentless waves, forcing you to juggle ammo, positioning, and sheer panic all at once. It's survival horror distilled to its purest form, claustrophobic, intense, and endlessly replayable. And somehow, even when your palms are sweating and your nerves are shot, you can't stop grinning because it's just that polished, that brutal, and that fun.
Stay here.
What? Okay.
Now let's talk about a game that doubles as a fitness program. Climb this, jump that, somehow survive falls that would snap a normal spine in half. It's non-stop adventure, tossing you from frozen cliffs to ancient ruins while dangling the promise of just one more secret around every corner. The puzzles hit that sweet spot between clever and infuriating, making you feel like a genius when you solve them. And the environment's absolutely stunning. Half the time you're too busy gawking at the view to notice you're being shot at. It's the perfect balance of danger, exploration, and spectacle.
Covering fire! Stand down! We're getting torn apart!
Next up is a game that doesn't just tug on your emotions, it rips them out and stomps on them for good measure. The atmosphere is heavy, every detail dripping with tension and melancholy, but also layered with quiet beauty that makes the world feel alive. The encounters are raw and unforgiving, demanding you scrape together every ounce of resourcefulness. It's not about mowing down waves of enemies, it's about surviving, scraping by, and carrying the weight of every decision. The craftsmanship here is insane, and even if you've played it before, this version feels like rediscovering a classic in the best possible way.
You ain't going nowhere!
And next, we've got a game that basically redefined what open-world RPGs should be. Every side quest feels like it could have been its own game, full of twists, moral choices, and the occasional monster that turns your fight into a 10-minute panic attack. The world is massive, yes, but more importantly, it feels lived in, with villages, swamps, and cities that all tell their own stories. The combat keeps you on your toes, never letting you coast, while the writing consistently blindsides you with brilliance. It's sprawling, addictive, and so good it ruins other RPGs for you.
You horses!
Giving me no choice.
And next is a game that hands you a toolbox full of chaos and says, go wild. You can sneak through an entire fortress without being spotted, or you can strap explosives to a barrel and launch it into orbit just to see what happens. The freedom is absurd. The systems all intertwine in ways that make every encounter unpredictable, and the AI reacts so cleverly it feels like the world is trying to outsmart you. It's tactical brilliance mixed with pure sandbox mayhem, and no two players will ever have the same story. This is the definition of controlled chaos done right. Next, we have a game that makes you believe, even for a second, that you could actually put on the cape and clean up a city by yourself. The combat is an elegant brawl system where chaining moves together feels like playing a rhythm game with fists. Gliding over rooftops never gets old, and the sheer atmosphere of the city keeps you perched up there longer than you should be. Add in gadgets, puzzles, and some jaw-dropping moments, and you've got the ultimate power fantasy. It nails the balance between methodical detective work and raw, bone-crunching justice. Now let's talk about a game that feels like you wandered into the strangest government building in existence, and the walls decided to rearrange themselves just to mess with you. The aesthetic is eerie yet magnetic, and the mix of supernatural chaos with brutal gunplay is ridiculously satisfying. The star of the show is how fluid and empowering the combat feels. You're tossing desks, ripping chunks of wall, and juggling enemies in midair like it's the most normal thing in the world. Every encounter feels experimental, every hallway feels haunted, and you're never quite sure what's waiting around the corner. Next up is a game that's basically a time machine, because once you start, entire days just disappear. You think you're logging in to do a single quest, and suddenly you're building a settlement, chasing down loot, and bartering with a suspiciously cheerful merchant in a ruined diner. The freedom is staggering. You can approach problems however you want, and the world always has some new distraction to lure you away from your actual objectives. Between the exploration, the customization, and the sheer unpredictability, this is a game where just one more hour turns into an entire lost weekend. Then we've got a game that's less like entertainment and more like stepping into a second life. Every detail matters. The way your horse reacts, the way townsfolk gossip, even the way mud clings to your boots after a storm. The world feels alive in a way few games even attempt, and it quietly forces you to slow down, breathe, and actually live in it. The pacing is deliberate, the action explosive, and the emotional beats unforgettable. It's not just about finishing the story, it's about soaking in a world that feels as real as the one outside your window. Finally, we have a game that doesn't just test your reflexes, it demands absolute perfection. Every enemy feels like a final exam, every boss like a dissertation on suffering, and yet the moment you finally succeed, it's pure euphoria. The parry system alone is a masterclass in design, turning what should be frustration into an addictive rhythm that locks you in. Death isn't failure here, it's tuition, and the game is the harshest teacher you'll ever love. Few experiences are this punishing and this rewarding at the same time, and once it clicks, you'll never look at combat the same way again. And there you have it, 21 perfect single-player games that prove you don't need multiplayer chaos to have an unforgettable time. Which of these masterpieces have you already played, and which one is going straight to the top of your list? Let me know in the comments, smash that like button if you found a new favorite, and don't forget to subscribe for more gaming goodness.